Well, guys, Cat Max Mason here, and I do apologize that I wasn't making a video for this little playlist yesterday, but I got tied up in schoolwork and whatnot, and putting this together for my reenactments because that's coming up soon. But um, so I'm going to be actually doing two episodes tonight. The first one being Predator 2. Now, this movie was actually released in 1990 on November 21st, but the movie takes place in 1997, on the same day, on June 12th through 14th of 1997, all in Los Angeles. So basically, during this time, they're suffering from a heat wave and turf wars between Jamaican and Colombian people, and the police are trying to take care of this. So we see the movie starts off as there being a street war where guns are blazing against these two drug cartel leaders and stuff, and the cops are right smack dab in the middle. And Leona Cartel and Danny Archuleta, or whatever his name is, are awaiting the aid for their boss, who is basically a badass when it comes to this job, Mike Harrigan, and this is where his entire role in the movie is. So basically what he has to do, he has a lot of aggressive tactics, and that's why he's so important, because he'll do whatever. The criminals forces them to get out of there, oh my god, it's the badass, we gotta get out of here. So they blow up a big-ass building, followed by a mysterious gunfire. Harrigan proceeds inside against orders, only to find that they've already been slaughtered. They were killed by the Predator, a new one they call the City Hunter, or the Concrete Hunter, whatever you want to call it. So, basically, he follows their leader, El Scorpio, who is the only survivor to the roof. Harrigan catches sight of what appears to be a hazy silhouette of a large, transparent man, but dismisses it as an effect of the heat. Meanwhile, he goes back to the police and is introduced to a special agent, Peter Keyes, leader of a federal task force purposely investigating the cartels, and warned to stay out of his way. News he did not take too kindly. Harrigan also introduced to a young, cocky officer who had been assigned to his team, Jerry the Lone Ranger Lambert, my bad. And he got transferred, by the way. So later, a Jamaican gang member attacks the Colombian drug lord Ramon Vega at his apartment, ritualistically murdering him by basically stripping him of his clothes, where he's buck naked, hung upside down, and then cut right down the middle. It gets pretty gory. And then later on, the Predator strikes again, slaughtering the Jamaicans and letting only Vega's unarmed girlfriend alive, because he sees no honor in killing her because she's not really that important, apparently, which is good. Meanwhile, arriving first, Harrigan, the boss, shows up, and he's wondering, again against orders, observes one of the Predator's weapons stuck in the air conditioner before Keyes and his team arrive. Enraged at his defiance, Keyes threatens Harrigan, saying he will disappear if he interferes again. And then he orders Lambert, who is the new kid, to follow Keyes, while he and Archuleta, or however you pronounce her name, discuss plans to return to the crime scene later for further investigation into the murders. Somehow, though, unfortunately, the Predator has also returned to the scene, revealing itself to attacks and kills him, which is sad, because now he's down a partner, and now he's got to go. Now he's enraged by this, because now he wants payback, because he's thinking that, hey, this is what they want, well, I'll give them war. So he's devastated, vowing to his superiors and Keyes to destroy the perpetrator responsible for his friend's death. After Cantrell and Lambert trail Keyes to a slaughterhouse, they visit the city's chief pathologist to investigate the weapon that Archuleta found. She discussed its origins. Nothing the weapon's material does not correspond with any element of the periodic table, so it means it has barely any weight whatsoever. It's actually the blaster, I believe, like the blaster that goes on his shoulder. And cutting like steel, Harrigan decides to set up a meeting with the Jamaican drug lord King Willie, hoping he will know who is behind these attacks. Willie believes that whoever or whatever is involved is killing his men, or killing the men are not from this world. And then he's like, "What the fuck are you talking about? Are you hot? Oh wait, I'm talking to a drug lord." So then he leaves, and then after a while, the Predator shows up and attacks the guy, but not before he puts up a fight. He's like this, and now it begins, the man. Ah! And he got beheaded. And he collected his head as a trophy. How original. Later, like basically, it kind of gets like to the point where he's like constantly being followed, and then again, I don't know exactly when these take place, but it got really, really bad. So after a while, Leona suspects that the killer is toying with Harrigan, and found that the pathologist links the killer to the slaughterhouse, such as the one which Lambert tailed Keyes and Harrigan and stuff. Later, while they're en route, Cantrell and Lambert witness a group of armed thugs threatening an innocent passenger. Let me see. On the subway, they pull out their guns in an intense, like a standoff, and then all of a sudden the Predator shows up, kills them, and bursts through the roof of the train tracks. During the Carella herds the passengers towards the front of the train while Lambert challenges him, and this is what's sad about him, because he was a good kid. He's just stupid, but not stupid, just, dude, don't try and do things too quickly. And he ended up getting his spine taken out. And Cantrell was spared because he noticed that she had a baby on her. And he's like, okay, I'm not killing you. Which is odd. But then he finally wants to go after him, but then he gets stopped by Keyes, and Keyes tells him, the thing you're trying to find is a fucking alien. And he tells him that, oh, Dutch, who, aka Arnold Schwarzenegger, ran into this thing 10 years earlier, but they couldn't get any of the tech because he blew himself the fuck up. And you know how that is, with the big-ass explosion. So, they use insulated suits to mask their heat signatures and render them invisible. But the Predator switches to his biomass scanner through a number of different ranges of electromagnetic wavelengths. So, in other words, he got an upgrade, saying he's like, huh, well, I'm not going to make the same mistake that Jungle Hunter did 10 years ago. I'm going to be smart about it. Duh. So, meanwhile, they all, like, basically get killed, but Keyes and Harrigan are left. For a while, the Predator attacks, massacring Keyes' team. Harrigan, who foresaw trouble, is able to escape custody and arms himself before heading inside to confront the Predator, which ends up somewhat bad. I can't believe he did this. You know, he got, like, put in those fence things, the fences that get tighter and tighter and then hurt you like crazy, but he was lucky enough to steal one of the Predator's weapons that was strong enough to cut the net. So he cut it off, and he, survived. And, later on, he's, like, in a spot, and then Keyes reappears to still, like, but scarred from the previous fight, and briefly succeeds in subduing the Predator before the creature rallies itself to kill him. Later, Harrigan makes it to the rooftop. Blah 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 blah. The battle continues from there. Before moving through an apartment building and finally into the tunnels under the city, where he discovers that the Predator ship is down there, and then the two engage in a final duel on board, ending with the Harrigan killing the Predator by slicing it open with its own weapon. It's a double-edged sword, or in this case, double-edged disc. But then he sees more Predators. He's like, oh man, you gotta be shitting me. I'm gonna die here now. But because they're an honorable race, they won't really kill you unless you really piss them off. So they're like, here, take this. Just leave us the fuck alone. So it gets a flintlock pistol that dates back to 1715 as a sign of respect, and he escapes the ship just as it blasts off into space. The remaining members of Key's team confront him, blaming his interference for their failure to capture a Predator. As Key's men flee ahead of police backup, Harrigan, holding the flintlock in his hand, comments that they'll get another chance because they come back every single time to hunt. But anyway, so, and another thing, if you look closely in the ship scene, you'll actually see a xenomorph skull. And for those who don't know what a xenomorph is, watch the Aliens vs. Predator franchise. They're the aliens with the penis for a head, basically. That's the origin on it. Sadly enough, their head is literally supposed to be a penis. But anyway, so that's Predator 2. The next one, the next Halloween topic episode will be on, I believe, Halloween H20, which is basically Halloween 20 years later. And that'll take place in 1998. So yeah, Captain Alex Mason, I will see you guys in like a few seconds. Bye.